Hi y'all, my name is Allie Egan and I struggle with phenylketonuria, also known as PKU, which is my genetic disorder that I was born with. I was born in September of 1995 in Utah at the University of Utah Hospital, um, and everything was great. I was the first baby in my family, so my parents were totally smitten. And 8 days after I was born, when my parents were getting home and getting into the groove of everything, they got a call from my doctor that said that my PKU test came back high, which is the baby's heel prick. They have tons of tests when they're born, but one of them is it's called the genetic screening, and it screens for a couple things. One of them is PKU. So they kind of treated it as a routine thing. Just come back, get her tested. I'm sure it's fine. Maybe it was just a fluke. Went back for another test, and sure enough, it was high again. And that began my journey with PKU. Um, PKU essentially is a genetic disorder in which my body lacks the enzymes needed to break down one of the essential amino acids in protein. So, protein is made up of 20, I should know the exact number of this, but 20 something amino acids. And one of them is the one that I cannot break down, which is phenylalanine. So, my body doesn't know how to process that and break it down. So, if it gets too high in my body, then a number of things can happen in severe cases, and if it is untreated from birth, um, seizures followed by mental retardation and complete shutting down of the brain, basically, is what commonly happened before this whole disease was discovered, which was, again, I should know the exact year, but like the 50s, I think, 60s. Um, so it was pretty incredible that I was born just 20 to 30 years after it was discovered. Um, Kind of crazy. But it is one in about 15,000. And like I said, I was born in September of 95 in Utah. And I was only the second baby in that whole year of 95 to be born with PKU in Utah. So kind of crazy. So there is no cure for what I have. I'm going to start doing this is one of my weekly routines. I'm going to start doing it here so you can kind of watch. Um, so there is no cure for my disorder, but there is treatment, and the treatment option, there is only one, and it includes just following a strict low protein diet. So since my body cannot break down amino acids and protein, I obviously cannot intake them. I can't ingest too much protein. So I have a strict diet. I am allowed about 11 grams of protein per day, which, to put that in perspective for you, the average just thing of yogurt is about 17 grams of protein. So that far exceeds and almost doubles my protein intake for a single day. The way I get my protein is through a medicine, a drink, and it is basically all the other amino acids and protein besides the one I cannot break down. And it gives me my strength, my nutrients, everything that everyone else gets from basic protein. And so that is in these little canisters. I drink 5 of them per day, and they're about 15 grams protein equivalent. So that's how I get my nutrients. I test my blood every month. Right now it's weekly, and I'll go into that a little bit. So when I was in high school, I was just normal. I struggled with the diet a little bit because eating and food is so social, and in high school that's something that you worry about often. Is just social standing, and you don't want to be different or stand out in any negative way. Um, so that was something I struggled with. My levels were high. I wasn't eating like I was supposed to, but I didn't have any severe effects, headaches here and there, mood swings, but as far as I knew, it was normal and it wasn't a big deal. I went when I was 17 to a PKU camp for kids under the age of 18 in Utah. I think there were about 15 to 20 of us, and 3 of them are me and my siblings. I have 2 siblings, and they both have this, which is also crazy, crazy odds. Um, and so we went to this camp, and I had a friend who lived far away in Utah, but she was my one person that I knew who had this disorder, and she came to the camp, and it was fun. We had a cabin, and we were getting ready for bed one night, and we were laying there in our bunks, and she started to say, "Are you nervous to have babies?" And I just kind of thought, like, why would she ask me? Like, I'm 17. Like, I'm not thinking about babies. I'm not thinking about a family. Like, I can't see past Friday night, you know? And so I said, well, yeah, sure, I guess. Like, why? Like, are you especially worried? And she was like, well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard for us. And I didn't really understand what she was talking about. And I kind of asked her, and she said, oh, do you not know? And I was like, no, obviously not. And she basically went into detail of maternal PKU, which I had never heard of was a thing. And man, that was one of the hardest nights of my life. I was up tossing and turning on that bunk bed all night. Didn't get a wink of sleep because I felt like my world was crashing down. So essentially, maternal PKU is when a woman with PKU gets pregnant, her baby is in danger, constant danger, because if the pregnant woman's levels are high, the baby's levels double. So it can affect the baby with different birth defects, a multitude of scary things that you don't want a baby to have. So that was terrifying for me because I've always wanted to be a mom and have a million kids, and I never thought that that would be an issue for me, and I never thought that this would stand in the way. I knew that it was a hard thing socially, and I didn't like breaking my finger every month and going to the hospital every so often. But when it threatened my divine role as a mother and what I want most in my life, that's when I was really scared. Um, from then on, I kind of told myself I didn't want kids, just so I didn't have to deal with it. And fast forward 4 or 5 years, I met my husband. We dated. We got married, and here we are, almost 2 years later. And I've been working hard, and meeting with my doctors, and giving blood samples every week to ensure that my body can house a baby safely and healthily, and we are officially trying for our first baby. I'm being monitored closely, and they actually just put me on Clomid to help me get pregnant faster because my diet is so strict already, but it's much stricter when you're on what we call pre-con, which is preconception diet. You've got to have perfect levels at least 3 months prior to trying and during trying. So they have put me on Clomid to speed things up so that I'm not weighing everything forever. Right now I have a food scale that I take everywhere, and I literally weigh everything I eat, down to the butter on my toast, which my toast is homemade every week. And the salad dressing I put on my salad. I put my salad down and I weigh my dressing. I weigh everything, and it's so hard, but I know it's going to be so worth it when I have my baby here. So, sorry, wow. So that is my story. I'm grateful that y'all have decided to do this campaign. I think it's so wonderful, especially in this day and age when um, we show each other our highlight reels on Facebook and Instagram, and it's all the good things. But every woman has a struggle, and we're all warriors in different ways, and we are incredible, and we can do anything. And I know this because I'm just fighting, and my computer's turned off. um, but thank y'all again for doing this. I think it's incredible to empower women in a day that we don't get that empowerment from a lot of things. So thank y'all for doing that, and I can't wait to have my healthy baby here someday so I can use my honey fawn design bag that I've already purchased. Little excited, but I'm working for it and I'm ready, and I am proud to be a woman.